Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to update all the child records when the parent record is updated. Let me show you my database. In my database, I have this two table, which is the parent, wherein you're gonna place an order, and then the child, these are the records of the products. I highlighted this in yellow, meaning I wanted to update these two columns whenever I updated the parent, the status, and then the order completed date and time. So in the child records table, it has also this and the order completed date and time. So I wanted to update all of the records under this parent records once the parent record is updated. So let's go to the app sheet, app editor. In my app editor, I have this the parent table and then I have the child table. So the first thing you need to do in order to do this task is you need to identify in both table the column which is similar. So let's go to the parent table. In the parent table, the key column that I have here is the order ID. And the order ID, and then once we go to the child table, and the child table, I have the key column as an ID. However, I added one extra column, an order ID. So the order ID in the child column, this will be the link between the child and the parent. So let's create first the link. So to do that, you have to go to the child records. Since we already identify the link, which is similar to other table, order ID. So what you're gonna do is we're gonna keep it as a reference type, then source table, then the source table is the parent. Then we wanted this option whenever we delete the parent table, child records also will be deleted. So you can just tick this and then done. All right, since we once we save it, once we save, it will create here ref rows in the parent table. Let's save. As you can see, it creates a related child records and it is a list type. So what you're gonna do now is this is the if you go here to click an plus sign, then you didn't see anything, right? Once you refresh this up, when we add the parent records, you can see that there is a new here. So this is the link from parent to child, wherein you can place a multiple entries here under the you can place a multiple child records under one parent record. All right. So since we already created the link to edit this, there is a name your child entries that reference to this entry is just simply go to the here to the generated virtual column. And here, say, let's say you can just rename this click new to add item, for example. Right, since we're done for that, we are already done to with our parent table. Let's work with the child table this time. All right, so in child table, I have this status which is supposed to be there is a formula. So we need to place a formula, whatever is the status in the parent table, I mean parent record, the status will be the same as well in the child records. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place an initial value in this status. So initial value here, I'm gonna use the expression called lookup. So I'm gonna look up the uh, this row this row the order ID. The order ID, this is the link between the parent and the child. So I'm gonna look up this in the in which table? The table is the parent. Second, the parent table. And what is the key column in the parent table? The key column in the parent table is order ID. And then what is the value you would like to have in this column? So the value is, since this is a status, I will put the status. Just copy this and use it to the other thing as well. Order ID. All right. So we already placed an initial value in the status. Then also the name, I wanted to, whatever is the name in the child, I mean in the parent table, should be in child will be the same. So I'm gonna just put a, in this case, I don't want to change it. So I'm gonna put it in up formula. So here I'm gonna just change it to name. As check the parent record. Yeah, it's name. Then the order date and time, it will be the same as well. The reason why I put the initial value only in the status because I wanted to update the status whenever the parent record changed to completed. So that's why I keep it in initial value. Order date and time will be fixed. So I'm gonna just um, go here. So to see the column name, I just need to go to Data Explorer. Let's go to the parent table. So, okay, so this order date and time. Okay, let's fix this. So the return column will be this. Okay, should be good. And since I wanted to update as well the order completed date and time whenever the status is completed, what I'm gonna do, I will just I will just show this column if the status is equals to completed. So I'm gonna just search. So I'm gonna just put completed. Then I'm gonna apply an initial value. Auto compute initial value. Order date and time completed. So as you can see here, or order completed date and time. Order completed date and time. Order completed. All right. So this is the name of the return column using this lookup expression. All right. So I'm done for the so we are done for creating a link. Then let's try to put to add some samples. I'm gonna just refresh this. All right, let's create a record in the parent table, and let's say the status is pending, and then this is the name, for example. So order and date and time, it's already generated. Then when you click new, so you can just see, as you can see, it copies the status of the parent, and then it also copies the name of the parent. So product ID, I will just choose the name here. Then it generates the automatically the names. I mean, whatever's the correspond to this product ID. Let's say I'm gonna add this. Let's say we're gonna create three child records under this parent. All right, so we created the three child records under this parent parent row or parent record. Once we save, and this is the parent, and this is the child, it goes to the child as well. So as you notice, the status become the same, pending, and it has the same order ID. Oops, sorry, the order ID here. We forgot. I forgot to mention you that order ID in make sure that when you're creating this, the key column in the parent is also labeled as this one. Otherwise, it will result to this. See, I labeled the name and the order ID became as well this. So let's refresh this. It doesn't fix anymore. Let us update that one. Now it's updated. All right. So now whenever I update this, change the status into completed, and there is a time already, and the time is automatically generated, the order completed date and time. So what I did in order to generate this automatically, the order date and time completed in the parent table, you just simply use the expression here. I'll show you what expression I use to automatically generate the time as per the status. I'm using the statement if. So if its status is equals to completed, then we're gonna use this expression now. Otherwise, keep it empty. So that's why when I keep it as pending, it's gone, and when it's completed, it generates the time. So once I save it, I wanted to also the child records to be updated into completed, and then the order time completed. I want all of this to be filled up as well. So here it's already completed, but there is nothing happened here. So this is how, I mean, so in this case, I will show you how to do that. So let's go to the app editor. We need to create a behavior, and we need to create an action first. So let's first create our first action. So I'm gonna name this for first action. Let's say to update. Since we need to update two columns, so take note, we want to update two columns here. So I want to update this, the child record, in this column and this column as well. So let's choose it to the, so this action, the first we're going to create is in the child table. So I'm going to name this action to update status and completed. Let's say this is the name of the action. Then here you have to select there is an options here. Look for the set value columns of this row. Since we need to update the status, so let's choose the status first. So in the status, we're gonna place this formula. We're gonna just use lookup. Okay, then we're gonna look up the order ID, which is the key, I mean the link between the child and the parent. So I'm gonna use this row dot order ID. Then I'm gonna look up in the table parent. Then I'm gonna look up the order ID, which is the key column in that table. Then the return value will be, what is the return value? Will be the status. So this is how to use the lookup expression. I just copy it. Okay. Then since we need to update as well the date and I mean the order completed date and time, then I'm gonna just use the same, and then I'm gonna just replace the status by order. I forgot what's the name of that. What is the name of that in the parent? Order date and time. It's order completed date and time. So I'm gonna just maybe copy this. I copied it, and instead of, I'm gonna just paste it here. All right, you're good. All right, then what we're gonna do is we're gonna just hide this expression, I mean this behavior. So you go to appearance and just hide it. Then the second is we need to create another action. In this case, I'm gonna name this update. Where is that action that I just created? Okay, so I'm gonna just put your update status and date and time. So the first action I created is to update. Then the second action that I created is update the status on date and time. So we're gonna select this, execute an action to the set of rows. So in which table you're gonna trigger this action? We're gonna trigger this action in the parent. So whenever we change the status, so this is to trigger the action. Then the reference table is the child table. Reference row, we created reference action. This is the one that we created in the child table. Then here in the reference row, we're gonna use this expression called order by, and then we're gonna combine it with filter as well. So to do that, we're gonna use the expression order. Second, it's hanging. So it's order by. So and then we're gonna use the filter. So the reference for this is the child. Then we're gonna choose we're gonna make a reference here in the filter. So order ID is equals to this row dot order ID. So the order ID in the parent, it should be equals to the order ID of the child table. And then we're gonna close this. Then what we're gonna do here is we're gonna insert the row number. So we're gonna just insert the row number here. The row number which is true. Then we're gonna close this expression. Once it's green, meaning it's correct. All right. Then what we're gonna do is we don't want to show this. We need just to do not display it, and then you can to trigger this action. There are two ways to trigger this action. It's either you wanted to create an automation by creating a boot or by triggering this in action form. I'll show you to trigger this in action form. So in action form, you can just select here form something. Yeah, so we're gonna look for the parent form here. So in this method, this is to trigger it in the save form. But also we can trigger this in automation, just to let you know. Then we're gonna have here, let me just finish review. Okay, behavior, and here form save. So I'm gonna trigger this here. Now let's try to create another record to see if the action that we created is correct. So I'm gonna just maybe delete this. Once I deleted this, it also delete the child records. It will delete just for a few seconds. See? All right. So let's add a new. So let's say this is pending and the name is Joe, and then I'm gonna create this time. Let's say I'm gonna create two child rec or three child records as well, just to test. Okay, that's the first child record. Then we're gonna add another child record. Then so this is the second child record. Then I will add another one. So this time in this example, I have three child records. All right. I will save. What's going on? Okay. Okay. When you go to this, so I have this order ID. The last number is 94. When I go to the child, it's here as well, 94. So if I update the parent, the status should change. All of these child records should also change to completed, and then order completed date and time should be also generated automatically. Let's try. So let me change this to, let me update the parent to completed, and then it generated the date and time. And then when I save and I go to the child, see it's changed to completed, and then the completed date and time is also changed. The reason is it's only showing date because in child records, I forgot to put it date and time. So it will be fixed here, date time. Okay. So that is how to trigger in the form save. So if you wanted to trigger this in automation, all you have to do is just to create an automation, create a new boot. Just wait. It's okay. It's not responding. All right. So let's say here I'm gonna name this boot update. I'm just gonna name this just update. Okay, configure the event, create custom event. Then I'm gonna just name this update event. Then we're gonna trigger this during adds and updates. And then we're gonna choose the table to trigger. So it's parent. So you can put also a certain conditions. Then add step, custom step. here in, so here instead of task, choose run data action. So choose that one that we created, the execute an action to the set of rows, and then save. And then since we created this in both automation and then in form save, so for the meantime, I'm gonna remove that uh, behavior here in the parent form. So to test if the boot is working. Okay. So now I remove this in form save. We will try the automation. All right. So let's add some. Let's add a new record in the parent. So let's do spending. Say the name is this, and then product ID. Okay. Let's say I'm gonna just add two child records in this time. Then add new. Okay. All right. When you go to the parent, there is one pending here, and also there are two pending here. So once we update this name Matt, the customer name, so I'm gonna just update this into completed. It should also update the accordingly if our, so here in the parent it's showing updated, and in the child it should show also updated. Let me see, it's completed, and then also generate the date and time completion. All right, so this is how you're gonna update all the child records when the parent record is updated. So if you learned something in this video, don't forget to subscribe or comments. If you have any questions, you can contact me as well. I can assist you with your app. And thank you so much for watching, and see you next time in my next video.